Well, hello, everybody. It's me again. Today is our parent to parent live episode. I don't even know what episode we're on, but it's been great. We've had amazing feedback, and I'm so excited about today for two reasons. One, I have earbuds, which I haven't used before, so I don't hear everybody else in the newsroom and they can tell and not disturb me, hopefully, while we're doing this. And two, because this is something that is very near and dear to my heart in terms of just inclusion and just expanding people's minds on what's going on, not just in the world, but specifically in our schools, and zoning in on the LGBTQ plus community. So HISD is doing their first ever summit, and you don't have to be a part of HISD to know that there are children who are part of this community, might be part of this community, and you don't know about it yet. I mean, there's a lot of people who are affected by this. And to join me today, we have William Solomon. Hey there, William. So you kind of helped spearhead this summit. First off, tell me how you are not only part of the community, but also an HISD student. So what was it like for you?
Absolutely. So growing up, I went to HISD schools for middle school and high school, and I remember just trying to figure out what it meant to be part of the LGBTQ plus community. As I was navigating, there weren't really a whole lot of resources, and I often had a lot of questions, and I was often just trying to find my way and trying to find that one piece of just affirmation and acceptance.
And what do you wish was out there for you?
I wish I wish that there was more information just about the resources that are available and really what it means to be LGBTQ plus. The fact that this community is here, the fact that there are people who care about you, who support you, and who want to see you succeed.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm glad that you are able to sort of put together with so many resources. And it's really been, you were saying, kind of easy because there's so many people that are wanting to be part of this. So tell me about what is being offered this Saturday for students and caregivers of HISD students.
Absolutely. So, Rashi, let me tell you, the outpouring of support has just been overwhelming. When we started planning this, we weren't sure what to expect. We weren't sure who was going to want to come, how many students would register, how many parents would even be interested in coming to something like this. But it's just been absolutely incredible. So, we have a really great day lined up for attendees. We're going to start with a general session. Our superintendent, Mr. Miller House II, is going to deliver a special message. Representative Ann Johnson is going to be joining us to deliver personal remarks as well. We have a keynote address from Marcus Ceniceros from Leadership for Educational Equity. We have representatives from Equality Texas, the Montrose Center, Hatch Youth, just so many great people to come and talk and just share information, share resources, share best practices, and really just be that listening person that our students and our parents can lean on and just ask those questions. After that general session is done, we have different tracks for our middle school students in attendance, as well as our high school students and our parents, caregivers, staff, and community members to really just come, learn, get the information, ask their burning questions, and really just figure out what do we do now and where do we go from here? And how do we make sure that our students are affirmed, that they know that we value them, and that they know that they're welcome, that they belong here.
Definitely. And this is something that is actually pretty popular. You have a lot of folks that are registering for this. We actually have that right over here, the website. It's houstonisd.org/HISD Pride. Now, for those that are part of this live stream that are joining in and thinking, there aren't these children out there, or this isn't affecting a lot of people. Can you tell me how, because you do deal with students, how this is such a um, big population in the community?
Absolutely. So it's no secret that our LGBTQ plus students experience higher instances of mental health issues, higher instances of suicidal ideation, um, and really just don't have that place to turn to. Our students are out there, they're there, and they're really just looking for any sign or signal or affirmation that it's okay to be gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, what have you, and that they are valued. We see it in our school districts, particularly through our wraparound services department. We see it through other departments too, through college readiness and just in general day-to-day advising with kids. Our teachers see it, our counselors see it as these students are coming and talking to them about the issues that they experience. And as we start looking at the data, as we start looking at what students are coming in for the most, we realize that these students are these LGBTQ plus students are needing that additional layer of support. In addition to those issues, mental health, higher instances of suicidal ideation, all of these things. Nationally, we do see issues with LGBTQ plus youth being kicked out of their homes and experiencing instances of homelessness. So there's a real need to make sure that our parents and caregivers have that understanding and have really just the tools that they need to support their kids.
Definitely. And when you talk about these tools, I asked you that when we were doing the story yesterday. So what tools are there out there, not just for students, but for parents that might think their child might be part of that community and they're struggling to, come out and say that?
So in a great city like Houston, we have so many amazing organizations who are here and who are always willing to talk to parents, counsel them, give them best practices and help them understand this is how you support your student. The best thing that any parent can do when their child is coming and talking to them about this, talking to them about coming out, is be there for them, listen to them, have that conversation, come with an open mind, and let them do it at their own pace and in their own time. Other tools that parents can take advantage of is, of course, opportunities like this, coming to the summit, getting educated, learning. Equality Texas is amazing. They have so many wonderful resources. They'll be here with us as well on Saturday. And really, it's just that opportunity to make sure that you understand and you're in the best position to support your child, but also being able to redirect your child to resources and tools that they need, whether that's talking to somebody, whether that's going to an organization here in Houston, whether that's taking a moment to learn a little bit more about allyship, or taking the time to learn a little bit more about how to support and address some of those mental health issues that do come up. Those are the tools that we're hoping to help parents access.
And I'm not going to say the viewer's name or the person's name, but they say that there's a small percentage of students who are bi or trans in each high school. So why are you changing everything for that small percentage? That is a pretty ignorant comment, I would say. And that's because there are more people that you might not even know about. And so just because someone's in the minority doesn't mean that we should ignore them. I know I probably am saying a little bit more than I should, but that's how I feel. And I know I have friends and other people who have said that they have loved ones in that community and they're shunned for whatever reason. So it is just so imperative that we help those who are in any part of the society, whether you're Black, Asian, white, whoever, gay, lesbian, anything. So I guess the question was for you, but I gave the answer. So, a small percentage, what percentage would you say is the population in HISD?
Unfortunately, there's no way to answer that question with certainty. But what I will say to address that question is oftentimes as a nation, June, of course, is National Pride Month. And oftentimes around that month, we see that question circulating, right? Why do we need a Pride Month? Why do we need a Pride Parade? Mm-hmm. What is the point of all of this? Well, while it may not be the majority, these are students and these are people who need that additional intentional level of support so that they can be successful in their lives. They are navigating one of the most challenging circumstances in our society. They're navigating one of the most challenging circumstances. And they need to know that somebody's here, somebody supports them and values them, loves them, and wants to see them be successful. So yes, it may not be the majority, but they need that support so that we can provide equitable services to all of them so much.
And I know this is for sixth graders and older, right?
Correct.
So have you seen, or are there those that are younger than sixth graders that have identified as being part of this community?
Absolutely. So there are definitely elementary school students that have that hunch and start to have that understanding. For the purposes of this specific event, we decided to just keep it to 6th through 12th grade. It's our first one, of course.
Hmm.
Our goal, of course, is to make sure that we go back and fine tune and make adjustments as needed.
Definitely. And so, if you're on the other side of this where you think someone may be scared or just doesn't want to say for some reason that they're part of that community, what do you advise them to do? Or what do you advise parents or even friends to do?
Hmm. So for the people who are scared, for the person who is gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, intersex, what have you, and you're sitting there and you are trying to navigate a very difficult situation, what I would say to you is take a few deep breaths. It is okay. It does get better. And there are people in your district, your teachers, your counselors, people at the college or university that you're going to go to, people in your life who care about you and who want to see you succeed. You are important, you matter, and the world is a better place with you in it. To the parents or caregivers who may not fully understand, and who may just be trying to grapple with this information that their kid is telling them, um, I would say the best thing you can do is to create a brave space for your child. Create that space where they can come to you and have a conversation, where they can be open, um, and where they can share what they're going through. And while you may not understand completely, while you may be struggling to grasp the concept and make sense what this little person in front of you is telling you, take a few deep breaths before you charge in.
Definitely. And for um, those in the community that don't have anyone near and dear, I guess, part of this community, what would you like to tell them? Because I'm sure you being part of the community, you faced, some kind of resistance yourself.
So for folks in the community, I would say the best thing you can do is be an ally. Um, Make sure, so in our example for teachers, counselors, what have you, our team is going to work to make sure that resources are out there so that teachers and counselors can make their approaches to their professions more accessible to LGBTQ plus students. So that can be something as simple as being mindful of pronouns. If you have somebody in your classroom who's gender non-binary, instead of using he or she, use their preferred pronouns. Little subtle cues that show that you're listening and that you care make all the difference. So to somebody who is not part of the community and may not have somebody close to them who's part of the community, I would say allyship is the most important thing. And I would actually take it a step further and say you may not think you have somebody in your network or somebody in your life who's LGBTQ, but you do.
Do you think that there's more people who are part of this community now? Or do you think there were always the same amount? It's just they weren't associating themselves?
Oh, 1,000%. I think that the community hasn't grown. It's always been there. It's just people didn't feel comfortable and safe, and people didn't have the tools and the knowledge, and really just the understanding. I mean, there have always been, for as long as there have been people, there have been gender non-binary people, but being able to attach that term to it, being able to speak to it, is something completely different. So by making this information accessible, by putting these toolkits out there, just by talking about it, and coming together and creating that space where people can talk about it, that's where you can start to question and you can start to really look within and say, maybe I am this, so that you don't get into your adulthood and realize it so much later and go through so much heartache, so much pain, and so much, um, really just going through the motions before you finally come to the realization that, oh, I am this, I am gay, I am trans, I am gender non-binary. Um, and then for those same group of people, it also allows you to accept yourself just a little bit more, so that you don't go through life trying to shun that part of you, because you don't have to shun that part of yourself.
Definitely. And as far as the pronouns, that's something that y'all will talk about as well at the summit.
Yes, we
And
will have. Oh, sorry.
no, I was just going to say, what is it that, our viewers can learn from what is being taught?
Absolutely. So in our breakout sessions for our middle school and high school students, we'll have a session just on identity, just to have a little bit of a conversation, about what the different pronouns are, what they mean, and just the basics of gender identity.
And what is the basis on? Can you explain? Obviously, we know he and she, but they and them, which are, I guess, three of the most common. Or are they
Absolutely.
the only ones?
They are not the only ones. And
Okay.
unfortunately, I'm not the expert on that topic,
Okay.
but
Right, right. And if people have questions on resources and stuff like that, will y'all have that on your website?
absolutely. Our goal after the summit is to make sure that it doesn't end here. We want to have this event so that people can access it and so that we're sending that signal to students that HISD has their back and supports them and cares about them. But we also want our teams to come back together, form a committee, meet regularly, and put out additional events for students, toolkits for students on our website so that and parents so that they can access this information, and just different professional development opportunities for our teachers and for our staff members.
And can you tell me how this is kind of, it's great because HISD being the biggest school district in Texas, if when y'all add um, a program, you've seen other school districts kind of catch on and ask you all, how did you do it? Can you tell me about that process and how hopefully this will happen with this one?
Absolutely. So as the largest school district in Texas and as the eighth largest school district in the nation, people are watching, and I think that's a very fair statement. Um, my hope is that this sends a signal to other Texas school districts that this is something that you should definitely consider doing. You can absolutely reach out to us for all of the resources, all of the information, and really just that layout for how we got started, and how we got here in our plans, because that's something that we want to share. It's not proprietary. Most of the time what happens is folks from other school districts will reach out to HISD and we'll just have a conversation and share that information.
Definitely. And there are students who have parents who are part of the community, and I know that must be hard for them as well. So, are you guys going to be touching on that?
Absolutely. So that session for parents and caregivers, really, this session is geared towards students as well.
Okay.
Students who are LGBTQ as well as parents who are supporting them. But a parent who's LGBTQ who's trying to just navigate that information, they're more than welcome to attend the session. We'll have a special breakout session just for parents and caregivers as well as members of the community.
Okay, awesome. Well, is there anything else you would like to add? I know we put the registration up there and we also did a story yesterday on this, and it is pretty popular. I know you've had a lot of folks registering for it, which is great news.
Thank you. No, I'm so excited. I checked this morning and we were up to 150, and we're just so excited to do this. We're excited to do the next one in person. The only other thing I would want to say is that to any HISD students who are watching, everybody is welcome in HISD. You belong here, you matter, you are important, and we are so happy you're here. The world is a much better place with you in it. And to any teachers, counselors, any HISD employees who are watching, thank you for providing this opportunity to our students. Thank you for making sure that they know about it, that it's accessible to them, and really just making sure that um, their day to day makes sense.
Definitely. And I'm sure that you speak for a lot of people when you say it's so, you're so grateful for so many that are supporting you. You have some people that wanted to be on part of the panel, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes. So
Yeah, go ahead.
absolutely. So for our panel in that general session, I'm really excited to share. We have representatives from LGBTQ plus centers of colleges, representatives from different organizations in Texas, and we're just really looking forward to giving them a chance to speak on their experiences navigating life as people who are LGBTQ.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, William, for taking the time this evening to talk about this. I'm so glad that this is out there. I know that it's going to benefit so many people. Again, you can register. I'm putting the registration right over here. It's on the website, houstonisd.org. There's a whole section there. You fill out a couple questions and you're registered. Really not that hard because I clicked on the link just to make sure it worked. Again, it's Saturday on April 9th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. This one is virtual. Hopefully the next one will be in person. And, we'll talk to you again when that happens. So thanks so much, William.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. So thank you all for joining in on this conversation. It's very important. And I hope that you all are allowed, or not allowed, but are able to, is what I'm trying to say, share these resources, even if you're not part of HISD, because there are so many here in Houston. I've done stories on it, and it's just great to love one another for who we are. I think that's what life's all about, right? Well, please do join me next week because we are going to have another parents parent segment, and we're talking about something a lot of kids are facing, that's stress. So how do parents deal with all the stress that kids are facing in school with the pandemic? I know parents are stressed themselves. We've already done that topic, so we're doing the other one. And so I hope you will join me for that. It will be next week on Thursday, 6:30 p.m., same time, same place. So we'll see you then. Thank you.